So guys, we are here today at the Ventura Podcast Studio. Thank you so much, Doris, for allowing us to be here today with you. And we are here to address the elephant in the room. Let's talk just like that. What is happening here in the Antelope Valley? What is going on with Sync, and what's the news? You know, tell us why you decided to bring Sync here to the AV.
Well, I think that before we get into it, by the way, thank you for inviting me to the podcast. Thank you, Jorge. If you guys are in the AV and you need to record a podcast, definitely reach out to George or Jorge. He is the guy here. But thank you for inviting me to the podcast. I'm actually excited to have this conversation. It was unexpected. But before we get to where we're going, what we're doing, and what's going on, what's the buzz, let's a little bit of background about Sim Brokerage. So, Sim Brokerage is a boutique real estate company, technology driven. We started in 2017 in Woodland Hills with 7 agents. Before, I was part of the traditional concept Remax and Rodeo Realty for real.
We know Remax.
And you know Remax?
Yes.
And so, throughout my career, I I felt back in 2017, I felt that there was something missing, something lacking in the industry. And so I just went home and I told Diana, my wife, I just want to open my own brokerage, and I want to open a brokerage that I want to work for. A company that really cares about the agent, that puts the agent first as a priority and doesn't have any, secret protocol, right?
Yeah.
And so we started with 7 agents. Core values from the beginning was promoting happiness, great energy, making sure that the environment is healthy, everyone is getting along. Because if you're promoting happiness, then everything comes along, including money. And next thing you know, we grew the company to 22 agents. In 2020, we opened our second location. We got to 50 agents. 2021, we expanded to the East Coast. We opened Beverly Hills. We got to like 120 agents. And then 2023, we got our own mortgage company, our own escrow company. And throughout the journey, we got many offers to sell the company. And so that small vision became something bigger. Now, when you understand that you can actually influence and change people's life, one agent at a time, I personally, I'm not thinking about the commission or how much money I'm making. I'm thinking about how many how many people can I impact. And so that is the background of Sync. 2024, we got to 150 agents. All primarily we concentrate in agents that are full-time agents with experience. From time to time, we actually pick new licensees as long as they are fully committed, driven, and someone that you can tell from the beginning is coachable. And we have many examples of great producers. And I believe, when was it, 2025, early this year, we came to a networking event where I met Charla.
Yes.
And Charla, I mean, I didn't know Charla. I didn't know, honestly, I'm getting to know Palmdale, Lancaster, the AV through you ladies. I knew about it. I sold properties here, but I wasn't really aware of what was going on here. And it's been what, like a month and a half. It's a golden mine. It's there is a lot of potential. There is great people. And one of the things that I just realized is it's a very small town.
Very small. Very small.
It's like all of realtors are neighbors.
Yeah. If you want to put it that way, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, Sync as a boutique, which essentially we have a hybrid concept between the traditional company and the cloud base. We got great technology. Humbly saying, we got probably one of the best technology platforms out there, and it was built by agents. So we're looking to actually give the agents all of the tools, resources, without charging any fees, and essentially really help agents building their business. And so we open. We have, well, when we started was Woodland Hills, so now we have Encino. Last week we just opened Westlake Village. We have our boutique in Beverly Hills. Actually, Bill is here in town. We just closed a great deal with a broker from Florida, 380 agents. And organically, we ended up in the AV opening a beautiful boutique with great producers. And so the idea is to continue opening hubs throughout the nation, great locations, great quality people. We don't want the traditional, we don't want to be the cloud based, but just boutiques, and attracting good quality human beings overall.
Yeah.
Not just agents, but great human beings. And how we ended up here was actually, it was a conversation. So you guys invited me to, what was the event?
It was AV's finest. I was actually moderating that event, and Charla was a panelist on
That's
at the
right.
event.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was listening to Charla's story.
Mm-hmm.
You bought a property here for, what was it, 39,000?
30. Mhm.
30?
In
And
2008?
8?
Mhm.
9?
Yeah.
And then you flipped that property.
Yes.
I was listening to the story how you bought with all the money you had back then,
Yes.
and then you flipped that property,
Mhm.
and then you were sharing with all of the agents how you can actually build wealth through real estate, not just as an agent.
Right.
That got my attention.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a great conference, actually. That was a great conference. And then from there, we went to have lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Charla was there. And organically, I think she was to my right. And I was having lunch, and we started a conversation with Charla,
Mm-hmm.
one of top number one producer in the AV. Is
And
it?
I have been in the top 10% or top 10, not 10%, top 1% since I started, really.
Wow.
I feel like that's not really hard out here, though, but it is hard, apparently.
It is.
It's very hard.
But it's just having the drive.
So let's kind of like redirect this to Charlotte. So when you started in real estate, you started in the AV? Because now
Yes.
this is about getting to know you,
Yeah.
your local market area,
Right.
and what we're going to do combining your talent, your skills and experience with what we have, how we're going to put this thing together to really create a quality boutique in the AV.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, always in the AV. But like we've talked about, I've sold in all of LA County, Tehachapi, Bakersfield. So it's expansive. If I can drive there, I mean, you drive here, it's an hour. You come here often.
About an hour, but
If it's an hour drive, I will take it. Maybe even 2 hours. I did Compton last year, the end of the year. So if I can drive there and it makes sense, then I definitely take on the opportunity. But Palmdale has been a great place to build your real estate business because, you know, as many of us that live here know, the turnaround is much higher than most other areas in the United States, actually, because we have military bases, we have aerospace, we have building industries, we have just recently had the big box corporate, we have the Amazon space, and then so people
There's
are coming.
a lot of employment in the area.
Right.
Yeah.
People are coming and going. And so with the relocations and different opportunities, people just don't stay put for very long. And usually when they come here, they aren't really familiar with the area. So they start out in one place. You know, I've sold in California City. People know California City. There's a lot of military in California City, and usually they don't stay there that long. But it's a great opportunity to build wealth in real estate by building those bricks of starting out with a home that you can afford and then allowing that to prepare you to buy the home that you will love.
There you go. So 20 years in the industry, AV,
Yes,
even though you sold basically in other areas.
correct.
So how these kind of like came together. We had the lunch,
Mhm.
we connected. Diana and I, we left with a different perception about Palmdale, Lancaster. And then full transparency,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a text. And when I got the text, I'm like, really? Is she really reaching out? And so I replied. And it was Charla. Just wanted to network and get together and, learning more about how we can, collaborate in the story, something like that. Then we have breakfast at this great place. What was the restaurant? You got to come back there, by the way.
Easy Egg on 50th Street. It's a great location, and it's a, small business owner, so we like to support
There
our
you go.
businesses.
Great spot.
Yeah.
And so we had breakfast there, and it was actually like 2 hours.
Yes.
One of the things is um, there are meetings that we take every day. There are meetings that are planned, and there are meetings that you have like a step-by-step protocol, right? They're very formal, and there are meetings that you just show up and let things happen organically. And that was kind of like how I felt with Charla. We share both stories. I learn about her business. I learn about her. I share with her a little bit more about Sync, what we do differently. And I remember during breakfast was the first time I said to Charla, I have no interest to be in the AV. And Jackie knows this. I mean, with Jacqueline, we spoke about having a location in Santa Clarita.
Right. A year ago.
About a year ago. Jacqueline has been with Sync for over 2 years and a half, almost
Right.
3. Yeah.
Right.
And so one of the things with Sync is my goal, as I said, and actually if we go back on YouTube, I'll probably post that video. My first video on YouTube when we opened Sync, it says, I do want to change people's life one agent at a time. Because it's coming from a place that I care. And day to day, I still share the same mentality, which is I want to help people grow and get out of their comfort zone. And as we continue growing Sync, I want to do it internally, organically, inside out, meaning the same leaders that we have in the company. If we see that they have the skills, they have the qualities, based on our experience, Diana's coaching, and everything that we already learned about the industry and running the business, we can build other leaders. Then let's continue growing the company organically inside out. So about a year ago, we had this conversation. I want to have Santa Clarita so we can service the AV, and then it's close to Pandale, Porter Ranch, and so forth. I put an LOI trying to buy a company, and I think still there. It's been like a year and a half. That didn't happen. But after I had the meeting with Charla, and I saw the opportunity and the value, I mean, Charla is probably one of the top agents in the AV, and I said inside of me, I'm not dumb either. I said, if we can have a boutique in Palmdale, and we have one of the top, if not probably number one producers in the AV, from there moving forward is going to be just success. And I remember telling Charla, even though it's not in my map or my plan, I never thought about it, to be honest. I know we have agents living here. We have agents in Santa Clarita. But the only way I will open a boutique, because I remember Charla mentioned, initially I thought, well, maybe if she joined with the team, we can have kind of like a cloud-based, agent in the AV. But Charla mentioned, I need an office because I'm an office person and my team needs an office.
Mm-hmm.
And then right away I was like, well, if you decide to join and if you take a chance on Sync, then I'll take a chance and I will open an office. Only if you join, then we can actually put Palmdale on wheels and get it going.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have to say, this wasn't easy. It wasn't easy for Charla because you've been with the previous brokerage for 12 years, something like that.
Yeah.
You definitely took the time to learn about the company, learn about the employees, the staff, the systems, the contracts, to the extent that you even asked me, I want you to send me a CDA, how you do your CDAs at Sync to see whether or not that complements my structure. It took about, 4 months?
It took a while.
Yeah. Did you feel pressure?
No, I didn't feel any pressure, to be honest with you. But I don't like leaving things in limbo. So that was kind of long in that way. But I also was a very big decision. And you don't just jump into something and change your pretty much life,
Yeah.
It's a new, I expressed like it was almost like, sad to say it this way, but like a divorce.
For sure.
Because I'm leaving something for something new and better. And the people that I'm leaving, I still care about them,
Wait, say it
obviously.
again. Younger.
Younger.
Company wise, guys.
Yes.
Brand wise.
Likewise.
It is not an easy decision. Again, I can really relate to everyone out there in the industry because I started as an assistant. And so I went through every single situation and decision. I remember back when I was with Rodeo Realty, I got this offer of 90% from Remax actually in Sherman Oaks. And I took the interview and I met with the owner of that company. Actually, someone we know used to be partners with them. And now that we're friends, he reminds me like, yeah, you called my partner and he got upset because you rejected his offer. But it was a big decision because you are against the wall and you think that you are compromising your integrity, your values, and your loyalty for the person that you're working with at the moment. And for the most part, most agents say no to the offer because of loyalty or you're just comfortable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not an easy decision. But I have to say that you took your time and you really did the research. Maybe
Correct.
you reach out to agents as well
Mm-hmm.
to
And
ask about sync.
I did. I reached out to agents. I reached out to previous clients of mine to just ask them what was the reason why they hired me to be their agent. And if I wasn't with a big name brokerage, if
Okay.
that would change their mind about working with me. Because it was important to me to understand the client that I'm actually working for. You need to know what appeals to them as well. And across the board, everybody said, we didn't even know what Remax, Remax is obviously a big brand, but
Right.
they wouldn't have known the difference that they hired me because they felt they could trust me. And we know that that's the most important thing in our industry is to build trust with our clients and with the community and people that we work with.
The relationship with the client.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that did encourage me that it wouldn't take a take away some of my clients from feeling that they could still work with me. So that was very important to me as well. And then, yeah, Sync Brokerage, like you were saying, just spontaneous things. I happened to be going down to Glendale to pick up my lockbox and closing out
Oh,
on
yeah, you came by the office.
one of the properties. And I'm like, well, Encino's not much further. Let's just pop in there. And you happened to be available. We went to lunch. That was our second in-person meeting.
Yeah.
And as soon as I walked into the office in this space, I just felt very,
You felt the energy?
yeah, I felt very
Yeah.
good energy, and just everybody in there was so receptive. And just getting that time, it wasn't normal that we could just spontaneously all of a sudden have lunch on a day that was not expected, but it worked out really, really well. And you helped answer a lot more questions that I had that day.
Yeah. I'm always aware, and one of the things that I care a lot about the company in general is energy. I always, whatever has to happen, like there is, we all have rough days. Like the previous podcast, 5 minute,
5 minute funeral.
yeah, the 5 minute funeral. I think that we go through like 12 of those a day.
I had 10 of those today. Yeah.
Already?
Already, today's been a day, guys. It's been a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Going to that, I have learned how to love it all.
Mhm.
The good and the bad and like the pain and the roller coaster. That's what makes life beautiful. Because imagine if everything was perfect all the time,
Mhm.
it would be boring. So I love those moments. I don't know. I like pain.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. But so we had the conversation with Charla, and I remember, is there anything else that I can answer? Is there any other questions? And then she keeps coming back with the email and the question and send me this and send me that. I have to say that thankfully and grateful that I have an amazing team. Whatever she asks, Jamie provided. Whatever she asked, marketing provided. Diana provided. We had a meeting with Diana before we kind of like formalize things.
We had a
A
conversation.
conversation, right?
Mhm.
So, anyways, 3-4 months happened, going back and forth. And by the way, I have to say that Charla is probably one of the unique and only agents that really, really took and did the research about the company, the people before making a commitment. I had an agent in the past that she actually did something similar, but it was probably more like a couple weeks to the point that She asked one of my managing partners, "Do you think his accent is gonna impact my business? Because I have
Wow.
a heavy accent."
That's one of
And
the things I'm going to tell you. That's one of the things I absolutely love about you, because the accent hasn't prevented you or stopped you from growing and leveling up the business. I mean, I'm like, that's my boss. Like, I absolutely love that. I love that.
I mean, if you don't love it and if you don't embrace who you are, then how you expect the rest of the world to love you and embrace you for who you are?
For sure.
I think everything starts inside out.
Mhm.
Acceptance, right?
Yeah.
Acceptance, acknowledgement, and it is what it is. You either like me or you hate me, and that's it. So I have that agent, but kind of like going back to how we started and why we're here. So that was a conversation, and then so I said, so Charla, I think that was very concerned. Are we gonna have an office? Are we gonna have an office? Because I have a lot of things going on, and I'm an office person. Um, my commitment with Charla was yes, we will have an office. Where? I don't know. Actually, as a matter of fact, it was Thursday. Charla was supposed to sign everything on Friday. I already had in mind a company that it's here in Palmdale, and I know the owner, good friends. And I said, if she signs, I'll reach out, I'll buy your company, and then we swapped the logo, and so
Yeah.
And done deal.
so I think it was Friday when Charla, I think Charla was out of town, and then she called me, and I said, I'm actually at the office negotiating our soon-to-be office. I did the walkthrough. Then Charla actually, no, you were not out of town. You were at a listing appointment.
Mm-hmm.
Then she said, I'll be there in like 2.5 hours. Can you wait for me? I want to see it. So I went to In and Out. I took care of phone calls, and then we came back. We did a walkthrough. Um, it was so like I'm committed. And one of the things about me is the minute that I take a decision, there is no going back. So I'm already here in the AV. So you guys can get used to me because I'm not going back, even if on my own or not. That happened in Miami and I'm still there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the idea was okay, if Charla signs, we take over this company, problem solved, we got an office. So far, things were, kind of like going online and, it was happening. But the minute that Charla signed and joined Sync, then these other party owners of this other company, they got greedy.
Mm.
And they started asking for more and more and more to the point that is like, dude, you got nothing going on, and I'm willing to basically pay you beyond just because my commitment with Charla has more value than whatever you're asking for. So I'm willing to. I'm bending over and I'm willing to. But they got to a point that they just pushed so hard. And I remember I was in Colombia because my dad was in
Yes, I remember that
ICU,
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
and I was dealing with the move, dealing with the company while I was in Colombia, and I said, this is not happening. So I told Charla, I think I called Charla, and we had this conversation, and I said to Charla, well, the office that you saw, it's not happening, but we will still get an office. Meanwhile, we find a permanent location. And
Mm-hmm.
then I think it was Diana with you. You guys found this temporary location.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Charla settled with her team. That was the priority. And then that was when we had a meeting
Mm-hmm.
with you and your husband. This is how Jacqueline came in the
This
picture.
is how I came in the picture.
So this is
Now
how
it comes.
Jacqueline
Now
came in the picture.
the buzz.
So
Yeah.
the buzz is real.
The buzz is real.
And it's happening. And so I said, well, a year before, I shared with Jacqueline, you have the skills to be a leader and you have the skills to run an operation. One of the things that I know is I cannot do it all and I cannot build a great company on my own. You need great people.
Mm-hmm.
Great people that they share your values, integrity, and they see the vision and they support that vision and you work as a team. And so I said to Jacqueline, well, obviously Santa Clara is not happening. There is a great opportunity here. You are from AV, right? You know the market, you know the agents. what about if you join us and you come in as managing partner and let's freaking open and rock and roll? And I don't know if it was a hard decision or an easy decision. All I know, it was a decision. And we went for dinner.
A 6 hour dinner. A 6 hour dinner. Yeah, there was a lot we
has
discussed.
been that. So Sim Brokerage is 8 years. In June 1st, 2025. It's gonna be 8 years. Um, in business, I have only had maybe a very few long meetings that time you don't feel the time. One, it was with one of my managers that it was at 2 p.m. and they closed the bar at 11 p.m. It was a bar, but it was one of the greatest meetings. Our lunch was about 6 hours. You don't feel the time. You just get lost. So now, and I think that one of the things about us is what you see is what you get. And in that meeting was Diana, my wife, she's my partner, and then you have my daughters. They're actually shareholders in the company. They know everything with the business. And so, for us is like we're gonna sit down as a family and we're gonna talk business, but I think it's very important for whether it's Jacqueline, Charla, or whoever is planning on doing business with us to get to know us as human beings, right? Not just the broker owner, but who we are when the business, it's off. And I think it was a great meeting.
I have something to say about that. Is the business ever really off?
No, it's never off.
Never. It's never off. It's difficult. I mean, we're in business, and
Yeah.
most of successful people I know, they're never off. Never. I mean, even when I take vacations with the family, it's like I try to leverage my time. And a lot of times when I take the family to Miami, I'm booking meetings in between, and Diana hates that. So, anyways, it's never off. And so, long story short, Jacqueline agreed.
Let me tell you why I agreed. So ultimately, during that whole the couple of weeks where you were negotiating with the other office, I was working on something else separately, completely
Oh, yeah.
unrelated. And I called you to get the advice on whether or not I should move on this particular investment. And you said, wait, don't do anything until I get back from Colombia, because yes, you were out there with your dad. And so things kind of aligned the way that they should have, right? And ultimately, we talked, yes, about, the Antelope Valley was never something that was going to happen. It was going to be Santa Clarita. But the fact that Charla came on board, they say don't put your eggs in one basket. And I was like,
I'm all
here, Charla, here's all my eggs, Seriously. I mean, if you want to put it that way, just because the amount of value that you bring to the company, I was like, it was a no-brainer. So, yeah.
So that's how we ended up here. Now we found a location. It's funny. So one of the locations that I was considering was across the street from your previous brokerage, and I said, this is gonna be kind of like mean, rude, but in reality, it was a great location.
Right.
And then we ended up signing the lease for another location, West Pandale. Should we disclose the address? No.
No, not yet.
So, by the way, it's official because I signed the lease, 5-year lease with 2 options. So, I'm already in. Like I told you guys, once I sign, personal guarantee, I mean, even like Diana told me, I'm already used to it, to the commitment. I mean, I always go like, if I did it in Beverly Hills and Beverly Hills didn't break me, I'll do it anywhere else.
Right.
And I use Beverly Hills as my passport. Anywhere I go, yes, we had an office in Beverly Hills. We expanded to Beverly Hills. And that being said, it opens the opportunity everywhere else you go. And so to me, signing the lease and, personal guarantee, 2 terms on my name, I'm essentially, if I were having second thoughts about signing that lease, that means that I'm not even confident of what I'm bringing to the table. Right? And so by signing the lease, sending it to the lady, which is one of the most complicated realtors in commercial that I have met. But anyway,
We
it's
won't
done.
disclose that either.
But it's done. I'm expecting to get keys probably by the end of this week. And then there's not a lot of work that needs to be done in that location. So I'm expecting to get the location up and running, ready to go 2 to 3 weeks. And then we can plan organically the grand opening
Mhm.
of Sync AV. Um, the main anchor of this location, absolutely. If it wasn't because Charla reached out and we had that meeting, um, I wouldn't be here. I mean, maybe we will continue pushing for Santa Clarita, but I wouldn't be in the AV. So this is Charlotte started this best.
Yeah, thank you,
Well,
Charla, for starting this snowball effect.
Yeah, we can go back to the AV's finest that got us all together because, we were in the group message, Jacqueline, and I started, really getting to know her a little bit more. And that was also a determining factor for me because I don't work with people that I don't respect, and I respect her tremendously.
Oh, thank you. I love you.
And so I'm looking forward to growing, and the momentum that we're building up already is phenomenal. Once we get our office, there's no stopping because it's a excellent opportunity.
Absolutely not. And something that I think that must be say is the point of bringing Sim Brokerage to the AV as a boutique is to bring quality. Um, we're really looking forward to attract quality agents. We're not interested in having 200, 150 agents or capturing agents that are just coming from everywhere. We're not. I mentioned this to Charla because, after the fact, we had another meeting and I said to Charla, we will continue selecting the agents we want as part of our brokerage and as part of our boutique here because we want the best agents in the AV, the best quality professionals, because the idea is to set the standards higher so that everyone in the industry and the AV, they can look up to Sim Brokerage as a boutique saying they're badass. We want to be part of that brokerage.
Mhm.
And it's going to take a lot for them to be part of that brokerage. Right now, organically, we have, hire and going in business with some of the great agents that you guys
Yeah.
already know, because everything is happening organically.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like Vicky, Alicia, Ligia,
Arlene.
Arlene, it's
Mhm.
all
Krista.
organically. And there is other few people that they're ready to sign coming from very well-known companies. I'm assuming they're very well known in the AV because it's a very small town.
Yeah.
And as you said, the buzz is out. But we are very selective. We're looking to have, honestly, I can tell you, maybe 30, 35 agents, and that's it. We're happy. We don't want them all. We just want the right ones. Again, going back to our core values, culture, energy, environment is critical. And we just want to go in business with great human beings. Ultimately, to serve the community and bring a little bit of what we do to the AV. So
Yeah.
we're not going anywhere. We're
Yes.
about to start.
We're just starting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're just
Yeah.
starting. And I can just say my team and my office staff is really, really grateful for all of the help and the constant availability to get answers right away to things that come up. And as we're shifting and we're doing the new technology, the new websites, the new, like you'd mentioned, it's a learning process.
Yeah.
But it's great that we have the ability to reach out to somebody almost any moment of the day and we'll get answers. And even with Andres, when I first signed the paper, honestly, everything hit the fan. I feel like the minute I made the decision and signed, your father was in the ICU. You jumped on a plane. Diana, we were moving furniture. We're moving
Mhm.
all these things, just us ladies
Mhm.
all together, like making it happen
Yeah.
for the office that we're in right now. But Andres was still always available. I'm like, pay attention to your dad. You don't have to be responding to every message that we have because we were in a group message and you were like, this is my life. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I have to stay connected.
And funny story, Bill is here from Florida. So I'm super excited. You guys will see this video going out.
Mhm.
So now Sim Brokerage, 8 years later, we have 560 agents.
Wow.
Um,
Congratulations.
and all was organically. And so Bill happens to live in Colombia, and he's from Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
when I went to Colombia to see my dad in ICU, I'm always working. So I text Bill, hey, I'm in Bogota. Is there any chance that we can meet? He flew from Medellin to Bogota because it's a 45-minute flight. And right across the street from the hospital, I had a meeting with Bill. That was the first time we met in person, even though we were under contract already. And he met my family, and he spent maybe like 3 hours with me right across the street from the hospital. Um,
Wow.
so, that's just to say that real estate is a lifestyle. It's not a job. You cannot, do 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. It's a lifestyle. And,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Diana will say the same. There is no balance. It's just do your best on everything you do in the moment. Just do your best.
Yeah. Diana said something to me at one point about you, and she said, you don't really turn it off very often. But the thing about her saying that was, if I was to ask him to do that, that would be taking a part of him away, because
I'll be the most unhappy person.
it's just in you to do that.
And we have these conversations because obviously, nothing is perfect. And when you're building a company, you go through a roller coaster. And business, because, and again, I think that the event that we had last week, I mentioned it. Nowadays, my circle is super small because as you start building something and people feel the threat, they start pushing you away because they're conscious or unconsciously they're doing it. And then I will say that in the good times and in the bad times, that's where you get to know people, like the real people,
Oh
right?
yeah.
You have no idea.
I
That
mean,
couldn't be more true.
we don't even want to go.
And I experienced that, and so same thing. So you're dealing with that business wise, but when you come home, honestly, I have a lot of respect for my wife. I don't know how she put up with me, and even my kids, because it never stops. And so, when you are going through that and you're building that, it comes to a point that you got to make, critical decisions in life. And coming from her as well, it's like, okay, I'm going to jump in the wagon and we're going to do this together. And if you're obsessive with that, then now the entire family is obsessive with that. And that's where you see a lot of marriages going different directions or relationships going different directions because they're not on the same, on the same page, pushing or pulling the same direction.
Yeah.
So it's an everyday thing that you're working on it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I'm excited.
I'm
Honestly,
super
like
excited.
I'm very excited for what's going on. I can feel the energy. I can feel the momentum. I can tell you that, like I said before, there is no going back, and we have some of the most impressive and powerful ladies in the industry. So Charla, I mean, great producer, but beyond producing agent and
Mhm.
real estate agent, an amazing human being. And then we have Jacqueline, same thing, very powerful woman. And I mentioned in one of the podcasts, I love doing business with powerful women. They lift me up. They give me fire. Not
Mhm.
intimidated at all.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's amazing, and it's kind of interesting. We mostly are just women building up women.
Correct.
It's not something that we really planned, but it's
Yeah.
going that direction.
It's going that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I am very proud of both of you. I'm very proud of being in business with both of you. And once again, I thank Charla for taking a chance on Sing, taking a chance on me.
Yeah.
At the same time, to Jacqueline, taking a chance on us, even though you know the company, but you took it to another level. And it's not gonna come easy, but everything that is great doesn't come easy. And that's why there is a very small percentage of people going that direction.
Mhm.
Choosing the difficult path because it makes a difference for those around.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
congratulations to both of you, and I am very, very excited and looking forward to building this brand here.
Yes, it's going to be incredible, and I can't wait to reveal the location.
I know. I can't wait. A
Yeah.
few more days. A few more days.
Yeah, absolutely. To wrap it up, should we wrap it up?
Mhm.
Yeah. One thing that I have to learn, and it's part of my goal, is to say Antelope Valley.
Antelope Valley. Antelope Valley.
And
I gotta learn that.
that's why you just abbreviate it AV.
AV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I Antelope Valley?
Antelope Valley.
Antelope Valley.
Antelope. Like an antelope. I guess they used to have antelope running out in the
There you go. So, guys,
desert.
you are welcome to the Antelope Valley
Antelope Valley.
or the AV or Palmdale, Lancaster. Great, great market. There's a lot going on. Great agent, great community, great people. Honestly, until now, I know, the golden mine that you guys have here. So, really excited for this. Thank you for having me here. And we're looking forward to rock and rolling and grow St. Brokerage here in the Antelope Valley.
Let's go St. Brokerage.
Let's go.
It's okay, guys.
Yes.
Follow us in social
We're
media.
excited.
Follow Charla. Follow Jacqueline. And follow St. Brokerage AV. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, George.
Thank you,
Jorge.
George.
Jorge from the Antelope
Yes,
Valley.
and if you need anything from George Ventura Graphics, he is incredible.
Absolutely.